everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to film today's video because it is my first ever year-end makeup empties. I am thrilled that I have actually made it to the end of this year, made it through all my panning projects, collected all my empties, was consistent with YouTube this whole year, and so I'm just really feeling so thankful and blessed to be here and to be able to talk through these empties with you. So I hope all of you are kind of a little bit interested or curious to see all the makeup that I finished this year. A lot of it was done through my Project Pan, and so you may have seen in my last update several of these, but there are also a bunch of other makeup that I finished this year outside of my Project Pan that I'll be talking through as well. And then I also thought it would be interesting to add up the total at the end. I have not done that yet, so I'm very excited to see kind of what the cumulative amount of all this makeup actually cost. Now, some of it I got on sale and stuff, so it's not necessarily representative of the amount I spent on this makeup, but I do think it'd be really interesting to just see, you know, in general, close enough, you know, how much all the makeup I finished this year would cost if I were to repurchase it today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. So total is 16 products, which I am so excited about. Like I said, this is kind of the first time that I've ever saved all my makeup empties, and really the first year that I've been a dedicated panner throughout the whole year. I'm so excited to see 16 products here. I'm hoping as the years progress, like this number just grows and grows, which is, you know, what I'd like to do and kind of where I'd like to see all of this going. That's why I'm panning in general, but really happy with the progress that I've made this year and all of the success that I've had. So excited to be filming this video. So let's just jump right in with my first empty, and this is the Glassy Skin Balm Pretty Filter Primer. And I finished this up through my Project Pan. Again, if you watched that video, you probably heard me say that the reason I put this in my Project Pan was because I had a bunch of primers in my collection that I really wanted to just work through, because I had a bunch of primers in my collection that I really wasn't using on a regular basis. And so I threw this into my Project Pan and I used it up, and it was fine. It was a good moisturizing layer. It had a little bit of glow, so it added a little oomph. But in the end, I realized that like I'm not really that into primer, and so I ended up doing a declutter in the beginning of December and got rid of my primers except for a couple. So really, I realized that like right now in my makeup life, or however you want to call it, I'm not a big primer gal, and that is totally fine. And I was happy to part with those primers, and what I saved was a more like skincare glowy primer and then a mattifying primer, and that is perfect for me. And if I need them, I have them, and you know, later on if I realize I'm not using them, I can also declutter them then. And then moving on to base products, I finished two foundation-y things. I finished a foundation and then a tinted moisturizer is really what I meant to say. The first is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. Big fan of this foundation. It was a little dark for my skin tone, so I had to mix it, and that I think slowed my progress down on this a little bit. But then in the summer, it was like a perfect match, so I was able to just use a full pump of just this, and it was awesome. And so absolutely loved having this. I really like the finish of this. This has been a favorite in my collection. I think at some point I probably will repurchase. I just have some other foundations in my collection that I'd like to use up first, but absolutely love this one and definitely happy to have it finished. And as you can see, like I scraped the sides, so really got my money's worth out of this one. Speaking of getting my money's worth, I totally finished this tinted moisturizer as well. This is the QMS Medi Cosmetics Active Glow Tinted Day Cream, and I cut it open to make sure that I got every last drop out of here. And again, this was in my Project Pan. It wasn't my favorite. I tend to like a little bit more coverage than this, but I was able to use it up just on light coverage days or when I was going into the office and just wanted to wear something more skincare-esque versus like a full heavy foundation, and it was really good for that. But having it in my Project Pan, I felt like I was using it more than maybe I would have if I was just trying to use it up on the side. And I think I was using it on days when I wanted something more fuller coverage, and it just wasn't meeting the mark there. So I was happy to use it up. It came, I think, in a BoxyCharm, so not something I picked out myself. And so like because of that, I was very happy to finish it up, but I don't think it'll be something I will repurchase just because It wasn't necessarily my favorite all the time, but I did like it on the days when I wanted something lighter, and as a result, I ended up picking up another tinted moisturizer, but I picked up the Pretty Fresh hyaluronic acid tinted moisturizer, so that on days when I do want something lighter, I have something available, but I don't know if I'd ever move that necessarily into a project pan. Next is a powder. So I finished my IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Press Powder. I purchased this based on a review of someone just talking about how it made like their pores disappear. I don't know if I ever noticed it being like super smoothing like I thought it might be, but I thought in general like it was smoothing. It wasn't just like, but it wasn't like filter smoothing, if that makes sense. But a really nice powder. I feel like I used it up pretty quickly, which was awesome in the project pan world, although I have some loose setting powders that I feel like I will never finish, so it's just funny to see something like this get used up so quickly. But really, it was a great product. I was happy to have it in my collection for the time that I did, but I was also happy to finish it up and be able to start working on a different powder. And then I finished up 3 setting sprays this year. The first one was this Kiko Milano Face Makeup Fixer. I really enjoyed this for like the aerosol spray. It's just like such a nice spray, and it's like a consistent spray. I just really like aerosol cans. I had finished up the one from Morphe in the past, and that one was really nice. I know a lot of people like that one. But in general, besides the spray, this wasn't like my favorite setting spray, and I think that's because it's like the makeup fixer versus like something that would hold. And I've realized in time, especially through using my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless setting spray, that I actually prefer a setting spray that has more of a hold. While I like setting sprays like my one from L'Oreal, which is the Lumi, which is less about hold and more about glow, I definitely love this one. It's a favorite. I've realized that my preferences keep drawing me towards something that's going to hold. And so I think that's one of the reasons why this Florence by Mills Zero Chill Face Mist wasn't a favorite, because it wasn't providing me any luminosity, nor was it providing me hold. Like, it really was just setting my makeup in the sense of like making it look more like skin and less like makeup, which I appreciate. I think that's really important too. But other than that, I didn't feel like any sort of additional benefits to this, and that's kind of why I didn't love it too much, and I don't think I'd ever repurchase, but I was happy to finish it up in my project pan. And then the last setting spray I finished again in my project pan was the Milani Make It Last setting spray, and this one I really enjoyed using in my project pan because I felt like this did have more of a hold than the other two. Not as much as my Charlotte Tilbury, but still a pretty good hold. It claims 16 hours. I'm not sure it lasted 16 hours, but I did appreciate that. I did not like the sprayer on this. Someone had commented in one of my videos when I had shared that, they were like, pour it into a different bottle, but I was like, doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of like me talking about this product in general? Like, I can't rave about the product necessarily when the packaging isn't functioning as it should be, because then it probably wouldn't be the best review for all of you, because you could go out and buy it and not have something else to pour it into, and then it might not be what you were looking for. So just some one of the reasons why I try to like to use things and how they come, because of that reason. Like, I want to be able to talk to like the product as a whole, and especially for something like setting spray, the packaging and like how it sprays is really important. But a great suggestion, if someone does have this and doesn't like the sprayer and they have another empty bottle, definitely pour it in. I think that's a great idea if you have that option. I want to move on to some eye stuff. So first thing, I finished my Morphe eyelid primer. This was an inexpensive primer, which is fine because all I really needed to do is keep my lids from creasing, which it did. I have obviously really hooded eyes and not much, there's a big crease in there. There's not a lot of like lid space that you can see when my eyes are open, and so it's really important that I have a primer. I remember back in the day when I first got into makeup, before I started watching YouTube, I didn't know eyelid primer was a thing. And so I'd put on eyeshadow and it'd crease so quickly, and I was like, this just looks terrible. And I was so sad about it. And then I learned about eyelid primer and my life changed. But all that to say is this worked. I liked it for what it did, and I liked the squeezy tube. I thought it would the packaging was really good, and I think it cost $10. So all good stuff. I haven't repurchased this, but I think I might, unless I find something like in the same price range that seems to work just as well. I finished 2 mascaras. The first is Roller Lash by Benefit. I have repurchased this one. I just really like it. My lashes are pretty straight, and I feel like this mascara helps them curl up pretty well. So big fan of it for that. And then I also finished up this Essence Lash Princess. This one I don't think I will repurchase. It was fine, it just wasn't like a favorite, but super affordable mascara if you are looking for something in like under $5. Definitely recommend this one because it's pretty good. It's just not a favorite of mine. And then of course I finished up a Clinique lower lash mascara. I'm almost done with the one that I have in my collection right now. I feel like I go through these pretty regularly, but these are definitely favorites for me because if I apply like my regular mascara on my lower lash line, it'll definitely transfer. And that was happening a lot for me a couple years ago, and I picked this up and it stopped. And so this is just like a staple in my collection, holy grail product for me to prevent that lower lash line mascara transfer. And then I also finished up a brow product. This was my ColourPop Brow Boss Gel. Honestly, I don't really remember that much about it. Like, I think it was fine. I don't really do much for brows other than just kind of get them in place. Like, I don't fill them in at all most of the time. And so it's nice to have a tinted brow gel just to add a little oomph, but I don't think there was anything super special about this. And I've been using the ABH like little clear pot of brow gel just with my own spoolie, and it's been working great. So I'm very happy with that, and that's definitely a product that like is long lasting. This one I feel like I went through pretty quickly. Okay, we are almost done. I want to next talk about my Fenty Beauty bronzer in Island Ting. I worked on this in my project pan. I moved it into my project pan with like the tiniest little bit of pan on it, and then worked on it the whole year. I actually finished it, I think, right at the end of November. It was empty for my last update in my project pan. And I absolutely love this bronzer. This is a testament of like having a product in your project pan that you love using. This is one of those for me. Sometimes I move things in that I don't necessarily love just to, you know, work through them and move them out of my collection or figure out ways to like them. But sometimes I move things into my project pan that I just really enjoy using, and this was one of them, and it was super easy to use up in the sense that like I never got sick of using it. I did not spend a lot of time using any of my other bronzers this past year because I was really focused on using this one up, which obviously I was successful in, but I did not get a lot of usage across my other bronzers. So definitely want to spend some time just exploring my other bronzers next year before moving anything that is a bronzer into a project pan. And the last 3 products are lip products. So the first is my Laneige Sleep & Care Lip Sleeping Mask. I definitely will be repurchasing this one. I ended up picking up this Milani Rose Butter Lip Mask, my most recent Ulta haul, so I'll probably hold off for a little bit before picking up another one of these Laneige ones, but I have a couple in my basket on my Sephora app, so eventually I will get this. But I absolutely love this. I just had this like on my desk for a while, and then when I finished up my Vaseline that was on my nightstand, I moved this over there and then made really quick work of it because I would put it on in the morning when I woke up, and I would also put it on at night before I went to bed. And so great product, absolutely love this one. And there's a whole bunch of them, so I want to try the other like scents and flavors as well. And then I finished up 2 other lip products in my project pan. The first was this Tarte Sugar Rush Cherry Slush Lip Gloss. Love the scent, liked the look on my lips. I felt like it wore off really quickly though. It was kind of like it wasn't like a sticky gloss, I guess. There wasn't a ton of staying power, but I did enjoy it for what it was. And I was like very close to the end of this when I rolled it in, because I think the year before that, I had it in like my project pan 100 uses. So I'd used up a lot of it through that. And also this one is really satisfying because the gloss like moves down the tube, and as you can see, it's like very much empty because I like scooped every last bit of this out. Product that I did not scoop every last bit out is this lipstick. So this is my Maybelline Make Me Pink lipstick. As you can see, I got it totally flat, but there is product still in there, but I was happy to call it done at this. A bullet lipstick this empty is empty to me. So I had this in my project pan. It was a holy grail. I moved it into my project pan, realized it wasn't a holy grail anymore, but actually really enjoyed using it for the several months that it was in my project pan. I was really happy to use it up, and it was great for what it was. And it was also really exciting to be able to finish a bullet lipstick. I know that can be a huge accomplishment, and it felt like one for me this year. Okay, so I did the math and I'm hoping it's accurate, but I added up what everything I believe cost today. Now, like I said, I could have bought things on sale and some things were harder to find than others. And I think this was retailing at $110, which is insane to me. But my total came out to $396 worth of empties for this year, which I am super proud about. I think that is a fabulous number, way more than I was expecting. And I think probably significantly more than what I spent this year. So something I actually want to do next year is track like all my makeup spending, and then also track the amount of makeup that I'm finishing and see where, like, at the end of the year where things come out. So super excited about that number and then all of these empties. I hope all of you enjoyed following along this year with all my projects and all my empties videos, and just thank you so much for watching my channel. I really, really appreciate it, and I'm so glad you're here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. We got a lot of stuff going on in the new year, and I'm so excited to share all of it with you, and hope all of you are doing well and staying safe. Have a very happy and healthy new year, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.